Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Wave Hypno-Hustler. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today, let's continue looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Wave as in front of us today for the first time in the Marvel Legends line and likely ever in action figure form. We have Hypno-Hustler. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the character, you will be forgiven as he's only made a few minor appearances in the comics. His debut was Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man 24 in 1978, and he's a musician with hypnotic equipment, so when he plays his guitar, it puts you in a trance and it allows him to rob you. His band was called the Mercy Killers, but Spider-Man unfortunately spoiled their rise to stardom, but now we have him here in action figure form, microphone, guitar and all, in this all-white outfit and his hypnotic goggles with the effect in as well. His boots could also let out a hypnotic gas. That's why there's a port in with these little effects down here as well. The card says mic drop and you'll see is on the Toy Biz tribute packaging, although he was never actually in the animated series. But I'm never mad at characters on this card back. So there he is, front and center. On the back we get the other 6 figures in the wave. We get the stencil and a write-up that says small-time hood Antoine Swan attempts to put his music career over the top by combining his mind-numbing hypnotic numbers with grand larceny. So without further ado, let's get him open. Here we have Hypno-Hustler out of the packaging with his accessories on the table. Of course, I've had to switch to the black background as he is wearing all white and he would have otherwise disappeared. So we get his hot pink microphone to match his attire, which is pink bout with a speaker. He's also got a speaker in his collar. And then we get 2 interchangeable hands that have a purpose. One holds the pick so we can play his guitar. The other holds the mic. And then we get a few effect pieces that can port into those holes in his boot. So we'll take a look at all of that shortly, but let me first just get the tape measure out so we can see that Antoine stands at just over 6.5 inches in height. His afro takes him to about 17 centimeters, so a little bit taller than average, but still fits perfectly in. He is completely pinless as well with the all white body. And yeah, he otherwise looks really good. I really like the sort of hypnotism effects in his goggles. So let's waste no time, shall we? And take a closer look. Zooming in this close does not do our friend Antoine any favors as he has a very quirky facial expression there. He sort of looks like the Nutty Professor with these hypnotizing goggles and an afro, but his teeth are on show and you can see the swirly twirly effect in there, which reminds me of the same effect we got with Sauron re-release earlier this year. But these white goggles also double up as headphones. As you can see, they go round and cover up both of the ears, and that is just to make sure he doesn't hypnotize himself. And spoiler alert, that's exactly how Spider-Man beat him. He removed his headphones and he ended up falling into his own trance. But the hair sculpt's really nice as well with that big afro, really nicely textured and sculpted all the way around the head. Looks really good, especially with the hypnotizing effect into his goggles. Don't look too close, people. You may fall into his trance. So in regards to articulation on the head sculpt, he can still look down, of course, as it is on a disc and hinge. And his afro will get hindered a little bit at the collar, but he can still look up a little bit to see Spider-Man swinging. And of course, you have your left and right. And the neck does seem to be independent with its own articulation. It seems to be a ball joint down at the neck there. So you can get some extra rotation out the neck. But everything you need is up top anyway. So let's take a look at the rest of the details here. You get a speaker on his collar, and then you also get these hot pink sort of cuffs that go all the way around the shoulder, but they will not hinder any of that articulation at all. They are attached to the torso. Then nothing on the chest apart from the bout at the speaker, and again you can see the lines for the speaker. That's a separate plastic piece that will ride up a little bit just to reveal the articulation at the waist swivel, but it will not hinder it at all. And if I slide it back down, it won't hinder any of the ab crunch either. You can get him crunching forward and back pretty well. But then otherwise it is all white all the way down to his big space boots. So yeah, no additional detail. It's all white apart from that hot pink bulk, shoulder pieces and the little bit of blue and then your goggles as well. Just a little reminder on articulation, like I said, the shoulders will go past 90, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, pinless as well, but he does have these like pirate gloves on, so they will get hindered just a little bit there. Like I already showed you, he can crunch back and he can crunch forward. That bout piece does not hinder that at all. There's a swivel at the waist as well. The legs go up to 90, there's a thigh cut and a nice clean double jointed pinless knee, and he can kick his own back even with these big fat space boots, and there is a swivel at the boot as well, and an ankle pivot and rocker, which is a little bit limited of course because of the boots, but it is there, it's just a little bit stiff. But otherwise, as you would expect, legs go forward, they go out. Yeah, decent range here. He's going to look good when you pose him up with his guitar. So let's find it. Here we have a look at his pink guitar, which is essentially all pink, even the strap. Remember, the strap is like a softer plastic, so you can actually put it around him. And there is a little bit of silver for some of the details on the actual guitar up here. Make sure it's tuned, of course, and then down here as well. And it is the exact same guitar we've got multiple times before. We've got it once with Deadpool and once with Spider-Punk himself. So this is the version that came with Spider-Punk. That time it was in all white with a black strap and a little bit of blue highlight. So a couple of guitars for options maybe on display, but I think the hot pink will obviously be the better choice to stand out. But it is the same as the previous Marvel Legend guitars we have gotten. And to play that guitar, you're going to need a pick, and he actually comes with a hand with a sculpted pick in there, so you can get him into some guitar playing poses. So that's a nice touch. That is done in a hot pink. And then he has another interchangeable hand with a tight grip, but it's a very odd pose, isn't it? Are you taking the mick out of me there, mate? What is that all about? But that is because he needs to hold his microphone. Now, this microphone, I think we have seen before with maybe Dazzler. It's done in all black, and then there's a little bit of silver up top. And that awkward hand does grip the microphone, so we can get him some singing poses. Now, I think he has his own backup singers, the Mercy Killers, of course. But now he can sing as well while playing his guitar. So you do get a couple of options. Let's get that guitar. And if I had any faith YouTube wouldn't hit me with a copyright strike, you best believe I'll be playing some disco music right now. So you're going to have to imagine it instead. But there we have our Hypno-Hustler holding his guitar with the guitar strap going around, no problem. And if we zoom in, that gives you a better look at the sculpted pick, strumming some invisible strings. And I've also realised why he's got an awkward pose in his hand. It's so his guitar, he can actually play some chords. So yeah, it's an awkward grip for the actual microphone, but it's probably best used to play his guitar and actually be posed like he's doing something useful. So yeah, awkward grip for the guitar, for the mic, but a better grip for the guitar. So there you go, you have your options. Back to his boots then, he has this tiny little hole in the front. Now, before we actually plug anything in, I just wanted to say these boots are not the same from the 2-pack Sentinel. They look similar in design, but the Sentinels are much, much bigger, completely different boots, completely different shin pads. So yeah, these Hypno-Hustler boots are unique to him, not reuse from the Sentinel, because also he has these little holes in which we can actually plug in the effect pieces. First, we get these little blast effects in green, which I don't think are accurate because he's meant to have a retracting blade in his boots and hypnotic gas. So I guess this is in replacement of those blades in his boots. But anyway, you just get these two little green blast effects. But here we have a simulation of that hypnotic gas bleeding from his boots. So that is very nicely done. It's a subtle little effect, but it is an accurate representation of his power set. So combine that with his hypnotism and his guitar playing, then you have no chance. You are about to be robbed by the Hypno-Hustler. Swinging into comparisons then, first up, of course, had to be Spider-Man, and I know everybody has their own preference, so here we have the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man and the Maximum series. And it's not very surprising to learn that a Hypno-Hustler has also come up against Deadpool at some point as well. So here we have Deadpool and Hydra Bob. And if you're looking to form a band in your Legends display, then look no further than Spider-Punk. And like I said, the guitar and the interchangeable hands are all reuse, but it's reuse that makes sense. Here we have Daredevil and Elektra in the red. Here we have Peter Parker and Mary Jane. For some of us Spider-Men, here we have Ben Reilly, Scarlet Spider and Kane. And just for a little height difference, here we have Spider-Boy and that 2-pack Sentinel. And like I said, Hypno-Hustler was never a part of that 90s animated series series, but he's definitely the quirky type character that could have been the headline of an episode. Here he is next to the retro carded Mysterio. Go and check out the review on the channel. See, he fits right in. Here we have the animated Peter Parker and Mary Jane. And for a couple of random villains, here we have Silvermane and the Builder-Figure Lizard, who you have probably seen is already went up for pre-order, Amazon exclusive, reissue with the 90s head and a slightly different colour. And I absolutely understand that this wave isn't for everybody, but so far I'm having a lot of fun with it. So here we have the other figures in this wave I've already reviewed on the channel, so make sure you go and check out their individual videos, and there is always a playlist with Spider-Man 2099 really, and then we have Spider-Venom, Uncanny Spider-Man and the Owl. Now, do you think Hypno-Hustler has Who Crew potential? Maybe. I could definitely see him running off with White Rabbit at some point. But until then, here we have Frogman, Tigra and Jeff. Then last but never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hellfire Hank. So, final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Spider-Man Wave Hypno-Hustler. Now, I know this isn't going to be for everybody, and understandably so. He didn't appear in the comics that many times, so if you don't add him to your collection, you're not going to be missing a vital piece. But for me, I use it as an opportunity, an excuse to dive back into the source material and discover new characters and stories that I'm not familiar with, and add some context to these action figures I'm adding to this Marvel world I'm recreating in plastic. And this is the first time we are getting Hypno-Hustler, so it's an absolutely brand new character to add to the shelf, and I have no regrets. He's one of those Z-list villains that's just fun and quirky. I had heard about him though, because Donald Glover was supposedly in talks with Sony to make one of those Sonyverse films, but considering the failure of Madam Web and Morbius and the third Venom movie, then Sony have sort of give up on it, thankfully. So yeah, I had sort of heard of him and already done a little bit of digging on the character, so now we have it in action figure form. So let me know if you're in this one or not. It's absolutely fine either way, as always, but if you like Marvel Legends, you are in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please hit that subscribe button, hit all the notification bell, don't miss out on the video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. There are some other tiers as well. Get involved with the channel as much as you want, but there's lots of bonus content. Support the channel, be a part of the channel. It's so simple. Follow me on Instagram, it's Dan Who. I'm on X, Dan Who Reviews, and I will of course see you on the next one.